Welcome back, guys, to Pokemon TCG HQ. Hope you guys have enjoyed rounds 1 and 2 so far of the Burning Shadows League Cup, or Autumn Season League Cup, that took place at Athena Games in Norwich. We now have round 3 with Seb Symonds playing his take on a Ho-Oh Salazzle GX deck against Jonathan Ellis playing Volcanion EX. So we'll just go straight into the game, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so we do have Seb on the left hand side and Jonathan on the right. Um, so as I mentioned, Seb is playing quite a unique take on the Ho-Oh Salazzle deck. I think Jonathan's playing quite a standard list. Not entirely similar to what I'd won in the US regionals, but just sort of quickly going over Seb's deck. It is really geared up towards getting that turn 1 Kiawe. Or turn 2 Kiawe, and then just really steamrolling through your opponent's deck. So it's not just playing the 1 or 2 copies of Kiawe, it's playing a 4. Additionally, it plays the Salandit, it plays Max Elixirs, and yes, he's having to sort of use a lot of space to fit those sort of cards in. Of course, the Max Elixirs are there just so that he can build a second or third attacker whilst he's taking KOs. But really it's just about pressurizing the opponent. So the players start here. Looks like Jonathan's going first, attaches Fire Energy to the Volcanion. Has a Turtonail on the bench as well, and plays Tapu Lele. Looks like for a Sycamore he's moved to the active, so he's just having a quick check of his prizes. So ideal turns here for Jonathan is really to get 1 or 2 Volcanion down, maybe be able to steam up once as well, just to start getting 1 energy in. But I guess he's playing Sycamore, so it looks like 1 fire energy is already going in. And as he can't attack first turn, it's not too much of an issue. Here he doesn't even need to steam up, but he does get an important Fighting Fury Belt on the active Volcanion. Already looking at Seb's field, he'll know that Seb will be looking to get a Kiawe off on that benched Ho-Oh. Seb's there setting himself up for a retreater with the Salandit, attaching a Fire Energy because it does only have 1 retreat as a basic Pokemon. So he does Tapu Lele, so he's only really going to be looking for whether that Kiawe is there. His sort of Pokemon card counts, checking his prizes again. But it looks like he's just going to grab the Kiawe, attach the 4 Energy to the Ho-Oh GX, and get ready for dealing a 180 base attack with Phoenix Burn. An incredibly strong attack. Being able to also attach just 4 energy on your first turn, especially if you were going first, is just absurd. There's not really much other ways to explain it. Obviously, Ho-Oh does have a lot of counters to it in a way, but just by being such a powerful attacker, just by having so much energy on early on as well, it's just applying so much pressure on your opponent. So we do see Jonathan does Sycamore. He does steam up twice as well. He does, which means that Power Heater is taking the KO on the Salandit. Seb does send up the active Ho-Oh, which is quite surprising because he potentially could have sent up the Tapu Lele and played an Ultra Ball for another Tapu Lele to maybe take out one of Jonathan's Volcanion EXs, but I guess he's unable to target that Turtonator because of that Fury Belt. So another interesting part of Seb's list is that he doesn't play Field Blower, I don't believe. Mainly because, like I said, it's more geared up just to be able to do 180 with a Volcanion. The 1 Volcanion that he plays is doing 210. And just sort of, I guess in his mind, he probably didn't expect to see too many Pokemon or decks with Fury Belts or higher HP Pokemon. But he's done well so far. He's 2-0 currently. Looks like he's deciding whether he's playing that Sycamore or I think it was a Kiawe. Yep, it is a Kiawe. So he is deciding to power up the second attacker. As I mentioned before, just sort of be able to stream attackers is really important. So James here is likely to just continue sort of poking against that Ho-Oh. Because he still has like 3 or 4 energies in his discard. He has played a Nest Ball for an Oranguru. So with that indestructibility, he's sort of setting himself up in case he ever gets end, because he is the one sort of with the aggressive initiative here, taking those prizes earlier than Seb is currently. So it does look like he's attached a Fury Belt also to that Volcanion. Plays a Max Elixir. Oh, and he's missed it. Quite a rare sight to see. This deck, fire decks that often play 14 plus energies, currently has 4 on board, maybe 4 in a discard, so he's still got like 6 or 7. And he's played a few Sycamores already. Yeah, it looks like he had 3 energy in the discard there. He's actually missed 2. He's also got 1 in hand, but of course there might be 1 or 2 prized. But the likelihood of sort of missing it is generally quite low anyway. But he does proceed with a 30 damage power heater, attaching another fire energy to both his Volcanion and his Turtonator with both Fury Belts on it. And there's the Sycamore, so he's discarding a Salazzle GX, and there's another Ho-Oh. Attachment of 1 fire energy. There's the Volcanion that Seb will start to need to actually take knockouts on Jonathan's side of the board. And it looks like he's putting that 50, doing the 50 damage snipe from the Ho-Oh. Likely on that Turtonator, because it's probably the next thing that's going to be coming up in the active position next. Yep, there you go, there's the 50 damage. So that brings it down to 180 HP. So there you go, that we do have the numbers so that the Ho-Oh can take the knockout on it without even using Steam Up. So Jonathan here does decide to Guzma the bench Ho-Oh. He obviously does have the fire energy in his hand to be able to Steam Up once and take the knockout with Bright Flame, dealing 200 damage. And here, because that Ho-Oh GX currently has 3 damage on it, it has 160 HP left. So once again, if Jonathan's able to get a fire energy onto that Volcanion and use a Steam Up, he's once again able to do a retaliation KO. God, in my mind I constantly think I have said James, and if, like I said, if I have, I apologize. In my head, somehow I've got James stuck in my head, but I've been trying to say Jonathan the whole time, so I do apologize if I have. Should just call him J, it'd be so much easier. And we move on. Seb has played an N and plays a Max Elixir, so he's still continuing to powering up that Ho-Oh GX on his bench. Does Phoenix Burn for the KO. Jonathan there does have the 2 fire energies in hand and a Tapu Lele as well. He has all the energy pot needed. Does play the Sycamore, discarding potentially those important cards, particularly if he does get end. But like I said, he is sort of end proof to an extent now, because that Oranguru takes 2 more prizes, brings him down to his final 1. Seb doesn't look like he has a Max Elixir or any other way to retreat an active Pokemon, so he does just send up the Ho-Oh, attaches a fire energy. I don't believe his deck actually plays any or many ends at all, which, because of its normal aggressive nature and sort of attacking. So Seb does just play the Sycamore. And he looks like he's just going to have to put another 50 damage on that Volcanion. Hope next turn he's able to sort of use Guzma and a Floatstone / retreat. There's a Max Elixir. Probably attach it to a Tapu Lele, just so he has that free retreat option, or sort of 1 retreat option. So if he does put the 50 damage on a Volcanion. It looks like Jonathan has the switch here. He switches into the active. A Volcanion attaches a fire energy to retreat, which resets his attack, a volcanic heat attack, and has double Steam Up with the energy retrieval, which means that Volcanion is doing 200 damage, taking that knockout on that Ho-Oh. So that was game 1, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'll get to see Seb actually go first and see if he's actually able to get that turn 1 Kiawe off, which could be really big, really important, because of course generally with Jonathan's deck he's having to set up using Power Heater maybe once or twice, hitting those Max Elixirs before he can build a board state where he can sort of go for those knockouts and go for the sort of prizes that Seb would also be trying to do, but without this consistency of using steam up to power up his attackers. So it looks like he started a Tapu Lele against, yeah, Jonathan's Ho-Oh GX. He does have the 2 Ultra Balls, so it's probably likely he's going to go for the double Ultra Ball here. Yeah, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He's saved himself a supporter in his hand, gets a Ho-Oh and another Tapu Lele, plays the Kiawe down. Really trying to be the aggressor here. There's the 4NG attached to that Ho-Oh GX, ready for it to use Phoenix Burn. There's a double Nest Ball from Jonathan. Quickly decides to grab that Volcanion, and probably a Volcanion EX. Just another option, another way of getting Fire Energy into the discard. His other option was possible to use a Turtonator, knowing that that Ho is struggling to one-hit KO without a steam up. But he goes for the Volcanion, finds it important to use that ability, plays the Max Elixir, doesn't even bother looking past the 3rd card as he hits it early, which goes straight onto that Volcanion EX as well. I think he actually had one more in his hand. No, he didn't. That was a rescue stretcher. It looks like a Guzma and a Sycamore. He does get with Max Elixir this time though, and an Ultra Ball, so he can potentially Ultra Ball for another attacker. Does decide to play the Max Elixir first, hits it on the maybe 5th card there. So in one quick turn, he's already almost matched Seb in terms of attachments. So with 3 on his side of the board. So he's just deciding here whether it's even worth going for that switch. Arguably, I'd say no, because just tapping away at that Tapu Lele for 20 damage just doesn't seem useful enough. He does bench another Volcanion. And here we see Seb go off with a nice and early Max Elixir as well. Gets that attachment to the Tapu Lele. Gets the high 5 for brand new fresh 7 cards. And it looks like he didn't draw too much else, in all honesty. He gets a Salandit and an Ultra Ball. Guess he's trying to think what would be the best scenario for him here. There's no reason for him to retreat at Tapu Lele and once again deal 180 damage to that Ho-Oh GX. He could potentially go for that option anyway and maybe snipe one of Jonathan's Pokemon. Even if that Volcanion EX is able to find a way to bring itself to the active position, he's going to need 3 energies and another Volcanion, either in his hand or sort of draw into using a supporter. So a couple of options that he could do here, or he could just start setting up another attacker. So there, he looks like he is attaching this to that Salandit. Once it's able to evolve into Salazzle GX, we do see that it is a very, very good, viable sort of sweeper attacker, as it were. There's a switch from Jonathan into that Volcanion. Plays the Ultra Ball, probably looking for a Turtonator. Yep, Turtonator here, knowing that Turtonator can more easily take one-hit KOs, and also plays the N. So Jonathan here looking for maybe 1 or 2 energies to steam up and do another attachment, just so he can power heater. 3 energy is ideal, I guess. He does find 2, so it does look like he's probably going to steam up. Yep, just now he has 2 fire energies in the discard, or maybe it was just 1. Yeah, I think it was actually just 1. He does have the attachment of turn still remaining, which he would probably do towards a Turtonator. Yep, and then he'll probably power heater for the 50 damage, attaching that fire energy to the Turtonator. Start spreading that energy, because if he goes all in on that one Volcanion, he knows it can be very easily Guzma'd, and then he would have just lost 3 energy just like that. So spreading the energy seems like the better play. Seb here doesn't have the most workable hand, unfortunately. He does have Ultra Ball, Fire Energies, and a Kiawe looks like he's going to have to discard, and maybe another Salandit. But he does have that Oranguru out, so he doesn't even necessarily need a supporter right now. He just needs to be able to basically start taking knockouts on EX and GX Pokemon. So he does attach to the Salandit 2nd energy. Ultra Balls away a Tapu Lele and a Kiawe for another Tapu Lele for a Guzma. Brings up the Volcanion, which is sort of as we'd expect him to do. Does instruct for 1, gets another fire energy, and he does take the 2 prizes. So Jonathan here is gonna try and retaliate. He does have the flowstone on the active Volcanion. Does hit the energy, but he does need Volcanion and another Volcanion and a steam up here just to be able to do that attack. But it might just be that Seb's just forced Jonathan into a slightly more awkward position that he's going to have to build another attacker for the game. That's potentially really useful for Seb here. So now his Ho is down to 170 HP, which is in one hit KO range of that Turtonator with a Fury Belt. In this current case here, I do wonder about the sort of choices that Seb has. He could put that 50 damage on that Turtonator, but then he won't actually have any ways of knocking out should this Ho-Oh go down to that Turtonator. So I'm assuming that's probably why he's so hesitant on that potential play currently. The same goes for that Ho-Oh. If Jonathan's able to hit a max elixir and an energy, you know, that would mean a return KO on Seb's side of the board. So I guess Seb is currently thinking, what can I do to burn my hand down to be able to instruct or somehow get a supporter, a more useful supporter in his current situation. It does attach the fire energy to the Tapu Lele. Guess he's currently working out. Maybe he's just trying to power up a Tapu Lele. It does use a switch into the Oranguru that ran away onto the floor. Just essentially like a sacrificial limb. And does play another Kiawe. So he's grabbed 4 energy from his deck and he's attached it all to the Tapu Lele now. So that Tapu Lele is currently doing a base 120 damage with 6 basic energy on it. Really just sort of threatening as an attacker. If that Ho-Oh comes up, you know, this Tapu Lele is going to be ready to answer. Turtonator comes up, it's much more of an answer, but Seb will be hoping to maybe use Ho-Oh to take the knockout on that instead. Because it does have a Fury Belt. It's just a little bit hidden just under the body of the card and the energy. So there's a few sort of numerous things that both players are sort of attempting to do here. It's like a really interesting game in terms of where it's going to go, what these players are thinking, understanding what's really going on. So it looks like Turtonator is just sort of protecting himself from a big Tapu Lele play. By taking the knockout on the Oranguru, discarding 2 fire energies from itself. And yeah, so Seb plays a Sycamore, has the active Ho-Oh. Doesn't look like he hit too much else though. Trying to think what would be best here. Would it be better just sniping something? Probably, as I do feel that Jonathan would need quite a lot to be able to take this KO on his Ho currently, I believe. Well, I say a lot. He requires 2 energy. 1 energy, 1 max elixir. Maybe a Guzma and an energy. But, you know, this is where Seb has put that 50 damage on that Ho, setting up for an attack from either of his 2 powered up Pokemon. We see here Jonathan go for the Ultra Ball for the Tapu Lele and the Guzma play. He's targeting that Tapu Lele. He sees what kind of a threat it poses right now. But when your deck, which is both of these decks, are fire decks with such great one-hit KO potential, you know that Tapu Lele was never going to survive for too long. So there's the Tapu Lele with 7 energy on it, 6 energy on it. That Ho-Oh is currently on 241. No, 230 damage, 230 HP, minus 50, so he's got 180 left. So it does go down to a Phoenix Burn. Can Seb find a useful card for him to then follow up with the knockouts? But he does have the Salazzle on his bench as well. And there we go, it does take the knockout. Jonathan's a bit more in a pretty bad predicament here. His only energy that's on the board is that Turtonator. Does have that energy retrieval. So it attaches energy to the Volcanion. And the Volcanion EX. Does he steam up here just to get that energy in? Just to get that damage up is probably the most important thing. Dealing 20 to the Ho-Oh brings it down to 150. But then Seb does have the Guzma, so he does have the knockout on the Volcanion EX. So we are going to a game 3. Seb's deck there showing why it's a unique take on it and actually working really well. Able to take those one-hit KOs without too much trouble at all with the use of Kiawe's. It'd be interesting to see if Jonathan could maybe draw a tiny bit better. Similar to game 1. I guess he might have been a bit hurt with sort of not being able to get those energies into those discards, start powering up attackers from his first turn, as it were. He's very likely to be going first in game 3. That's where we see they both have... Nope. Seb does mulligan. Jonathan does have 3 Pokemon from his opening hand. Marks the 1 with a die on his deck, on his current deck. Just to mark out how many he's going to be drawing from mulligan. And there is that a Turtonator, or is that? Not really too sure what I was from Seb. We'll find out now. Both players are starting. Oh, it's a double Ho-Oh start. It's Volcanion EX start, and there's, I guess he's played a Nespal and a Tapu Lele together. Nespal's for a Ho-Oh. Tapu Lele's for... Does he play his own Kiawe? Not too sure. If he does, it'd be quite important, quite big right now. Because he does have more access to Volcanions, which means he is more likely to take one-hit KOs with much more ease. I'm not really too sure he's grabbed anything there. Or I might have missed it whilst I was talking. Does attach. Already has a Sycamore, so maybe he didn't want to discard anything. He was just checking his deck. Maybe he didn't have a Kiawe in there that he wanted. And he does just pass his turn here. Seb attaches. He doesn't look like he has much either. He looks like he's going to have to Sycamore. Oh, no, he does have the Kiawe. I was wrong. It was a Kiawe hiding behind two Sycamores, it looks like. And there you go. Once again, Seb with the 5 energies on his side of the board already, knowing that Jonathan's unable to take any or deal any sort of significant damage this early, because all he has is that Volcanion in the active position. So Jonathan draws his card, does have a Max Elixir in hand, plays it, does hit the energy, attaches energy to Volcanion EX. He's got a couple of other cards that he could play down. Steams up with 1 Fire Energy and Tapu Lele's for a Sycamore. So it looks like a very, very standard another Power Heater turn here. Attaching another Fire Energy to that Volcanion EX and potentially to that other Ho-Oh as well. So we'll soon see. There's a Fire Energy. There's a Fury Belt, which is really important. And surprised he didn't play that Max Elixir, but he has just decided to Power Heater for 50 damage. Seb plays the N. Sort of saving those Sycamores for later turns. So it looks like Seb here is likely to just go for that 50 snipe once again. I think he'd be really looking for a Max Elixir here, putting that Ho onto 3 energies, which becomes really important so that he can chain attackers next turn. And does hit the Max, gets the Max Elixir. Does he hit? He misses, which could be big. I'd like to think he would be in a really good position if he was able to actually hit that. But as he hasn't, these things happen. This is Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. So he does do the 50 damage snipe. Jonathan does use the manual retreat by attaching another Fire Energy to the active, and uses Volcanic Heat for the KO. So although Jonathan isn't able to Volcanic Heat once again, he's under no threat. Currently, Seb's board doesn't consist of an attacker that can one-hit KO this Volcanion, which is then where it might be in a sticky situation. There you go. Seb does send up the active Ho-Oh, attaches a Fire Energy, Ultra Balls away a Volcanion and a Kiawe for a Salandit. Looks like he has a Max Elixir in the hand as well. It'll be interesting to see if he plays that down. Does play it down. Misses again. Seen a number of misses this time. And Seb does just 50 snipe onto that Ho-Oh. So Jonathan here could decide a number of things. He looks like he has a Guzma. But if he doesn't have enough fire energy or so on, he does have a fire energy on that. Actually, now he's hitting it for weakness, so and retreats the Tapu Lele so he can knock it out. So he's down to 2 prizes now. What Seb here really needs is to be able to use that Phoenix Bird and end, but he doesn't get find the end at all. So it takes the knockout. There's the float stones on the Volcanion and a Fury Belt on the Tapu Lele. Jonathan here really is going to need to stop powering up another attacker. There's that 20 damage ready. So it looks like he will just be parrying, attaching 1, maybe 2. Oh no, he's Kiawe'd. He's played the Kiawe. He's grabbed it out of his deck. Onto that damaged Ho-Oh. So this could be really big. If Jonathan does have a Guzma in hand, he wins the next turn if Seb's unable to play an end to alter his opponent's hand, as it were. Fortunately, because he's already attacked with Phoenix Bird in this turn. Does retreat. Good. Does he have a Guzma? Oh, that's a Kiawe. He's Kiawe'd again. So here, if Jonathan does have a Guzma, he can win this set. Does Tapu Lele, does Guzma. This is game 3, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan has been able to take down the set. Some really interesting games. I mean, I guess just by being able to set up that one Volcanion and actually taking knockouts with sort of the weakness on the Volcanion EXs on Seb's side of the field and taking those knockouts. It's been really important so as actually being able to power heater as well to sort of set up those attacks on those Ho-Oh GXs without having to rely on too many steam ups. So pretty interesting. Jonathan moves on in the tournament to 3-0. Seb now is currently 2-1. Cannot afford another loss if he was to make it top 8. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Come back soon. Come back soon for round 4. Thank you very much. Peace.